What's up, everybody? Welcome to Human Innovation Tarot. My name is Eddie with Imagine Life Development Center, and we're going to be doing an all signs reading for the month of September. This is for every zodiac sign. So, yeah, there will be a little of something for everyone here. We're going to look at all the things: love, career, spirituality, just anything and everything that you need to know. All right. So, if you haven't already, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all the things. And the rest is in the description box below. So we will jump straight in. All right. So let's just take a look at, let's start off by looking at the current hurdles, obstacles, and challenges that you guys are likely to run into throughout the month of September. Also, happy birthday to my fellow Virgos out there. My birthday is on the 7th. I will be the wonderful age of, I'll let you guys figure that out. Take a wild guess how old I'll be on September 7th. But happy birthday to my Virgos out there. All right. So let's take a look and see what the major hurdles, obstacles, and challenges this month will be for the collective, please. So keep in mind that some parts of this reading might resonate with you, other parts of this reading might not resonate with you, because it is an all signs reading. All right. All right, so a bunch of cards came out, which makes sense because this is a collective reading. I'm going to take them all. Okay, so the current challenge, the hurdle, obstacle, and challenge coming up this month, and again, we're going to look at some other things too, so stay tuned. We're gonna look at all the things, but this is where we're starting. So the challenge right now really is seeing things clearly. Seeing things clearly, if I can speak. Clarity is key this month. All right. The month of September. So we have illumination. So for a lot of you guys, needing to see things clearly, needing to embrace, like, how do I say this? Like, there's two groups of spirituality, right? Like, if you're watching this, you probably consider yourself a spiritual person, right? I mean, it's a oracle reading, a tarot reading, whatever you want to call it, right? I can't imagine somebody who doesn't consider themselves a spiritual person watching a video like this, right? It seems very unlikely. However, there's, just like in any other area of life, whether it's religion, whether it's business, whether it doesn't matter, right? There's always the superficial version or the commercialized version, the materialistic version, if you want to call it that, of something, which again, it's just the surface. It's superficial. It's in title only, right? I don't know. You could call it like a spino, right? SPINO, spiritual in name only, right? So, and these are kind of like what I would consider like the people who you may have spiritual tattoos, you do yoga, you wear crystals, and you have spiritual paraphernalia, you burn incense, and your house is, decorated with spiritual stuff, right? Like, you look the part, but it's all surface level. It's not penetrating your heart. It's not penetrating your soul. It's not changing your life. And if it's not changing your life, then you should be questioning why you're doing it to begin with, in my opinion, because it's just like religion, right? And I can say this because I used to be the poster child Christian growing up. I went to church. I was raised. I was indoctrinated that way. Of course, I was Christian. I was taught to be Christian. I was brought to church every Sunday. I was taught to believe that, Jesus Christ was my Lord and Savior, and that if I, that I had to follow the rules and I had to read the Bible and had to memorize the Bible and all the things, and there was a heaven, there was a hell, and there was one way to God, and it was through Jesus Christ, and you had to believe with him, and you had to say a magical salvation prayer to get to heaven, and blah, 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 blah. And everybody else who didn't believe the way that I believe was going to go to hell. And part of my Christian responsibility was to indoctrinate and essentially recruit all of the non-believers, in other words, the non-Christians out there who didn't go to church and believe the exact same way that I did. It was my responsibility to go out there and convert them. It was my responsibility, it was my duty, actually, to go out there and tell them, like, hey, I got bad news for you guys. Unfortunately, if you don't change, if you don't come to Jesus Christ and you don't accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you're going to go to hell, right? Like, because there's only one God and there's only one way to get to God. And that's if you say a magical prayer. In other words, if you come to believe exactly the same way that I believe. And that's it. There's one way for you to get to heaven and not burn in hell forever, ever, 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 and ever. And it's to be just like me. Like, I used to be that guy, right? So, I was what you would call a superficial Christian. I was a Christian in name only. I mean, I did follow the rules, and for a while, for most of my life, I should say, I followed the rules. I didn't do this, I didn't do that, and all of that. Because it was a very fear-based religion. But living in fear and living in truth, living in fear versus living in freedom are two different things. And if your spirituality is just about crystals and the things you wear and the tattoos you have and going to yoga and doing meditations and the Zen, like having a Buddha statue in your house and burning incense on Sundays or whatever you do, that doesn't mean shit, unfortunately. And I'm sorry. Like, I'm just being real here, right? What matters is the things that change your life, the things that penetrate your heart, that penetrate your soul, that actually transform you into becoming somebody or something different, right? It's not about how you look. It's not about the things that you do. It's not about the crystals. It's not about all of that stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying that that's not the point. You're missing the point. If that's what it's about, then we're missing the point. Just like these cards. Having tarot cards doesn't make you a spiritual person. Anybody can buy a deck of tarot cards. It comes with the book. You read the book. You know what the cards mean. Like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do a simple tarot reading, right? For yourself or for others, right? But is it really beneficial? Is it really helpful, right? I feel like most people in the tarot community, first of all, most tarot readings are the same type of reading, right? There's not a whole lot of variety, really, if you're looking at tarot readings. They're all pretty much the same thing. If you're looking at a love reading, I would say 90% of them have to do with a past person. 10%, maybe even 5% have to do with a new person, right? Most of the time it has to do with an ex, somebody from your past, blah, 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 blah. And why is that? Well, it's because most people are focused on their past. Most people are connected to their past. Most people have been hurt by their past. Most people are carrying wounds from their past, right? And that's the law of attraction. So we attract what we are. Well, since the collective is mostly focused on their past, that's the energy that the cards have to work with, because that's what the cards are. They're a medium to predict an energetic outcome. That's what these cards are doing. These cards are here basically representing the energy of the collective right now in the hurdle, obstacle, and challenge position. So when we're talking about illumination, this means having a new understanding, right? The challenge right now is having a different type of understanding, a new level of understanding, something you have not considered before. It's becoming illuminated. It's an epiphany, a light bulb moment, right? And so my purpose in sharing about spirituality and religion, all that stuff, is not to throw stones or sling mud, but essentially just to say, like, we are either in a disempowered position, a powerless position, or we are in a powerful position, right? And so that's what this illumination card is really here, what it's speaking to, what it's all about. It's all about us really realizing or grabbing hold of our powerful position, becoming illuminated. And illumination is about embracing the truth. There's only one truth. There's not multiple millions of truths, right? Like gravity is gravity, right? Like if I drop this, I've got this little case and I drop it, it goes into my hand, like I didn't drop this and it goes, and it'll never go up. No matter how many times I drop this case, it's never going to fly up into the universe, right? Like it's never just going to fly up like a rocket ship and defy gravity. Because that's just a law. It's a truth. The law is the law, right? And the truth is the truth. There are opinions, what we would consider subjective truth. They're subjected to our opinions, our thoughts, our beliefs, our experiences. Well, I believe this and somebody else believes that. That can be argued, right? Like my experience is this, your experience is that. We have differences of opinions based on differences of experiences. We're just two different people who have two different perceptions, two different experiences of life. But that's not absolute truth. Absolute truth cannot be changed. It just is what it is, right? Well, illumination, there are spiritual truths that just are what they are. And we are in a time right now where, and the reason I'm spending so much time right out of the gate of this reading is because the second card that we have is a mask, which really just talks about the fact that so many people are wearing a mask. So many people are having to pretend. So many people are spending their time being superficial, being fake, right? Why? Why is it that in the year 2024, why are so many people having to put a mask on and pretend to be something that they're not? Right? Because the world has become such an unacceptable place, in my opinion. I mean, that's based on my observation of the world. The world is not a very accepting place right now. Even when you try to be accepting, right? It's not a very accepting place. It's like the world demands that you choose a side, right? You're either, you choose the left, you choose the right. You choose this group, you choose that group. You're either in this camp or you're in that camp. There's so much chaos and turmoil right now around who we are as a collective of people. Whether it's in our country, whether it's in other countries, or just the world at large, right? And so, but then you add in the influence of culture, you add in the influence of technology, you add in the influence of all these other things. And when, it's like all these different layers that stack upon each other until we're totally lost. We don't know who we are. So we become a product of the world that's quickly changing. It's, everything is fast food right now, right here, right now. We have, our attention is being pulled in 1,000 different directions at the same time. We're distracted more than ever. We have AI now, we have technologies, all these things that are warring for our attention, that are warring for our energy, that want to consume us. And so it takes courage now. It takes courage to do something that in the past we never even blinked an eye at. We never had to think about it the same way that we have to think about it now, right? In the past, this wasn't a problem, but today it is a problem. And that's really sitting with ourselves without the distraction, without our phone, without technology, without a computer, without the internet, without the this, without a that, without the opinions of other people, or without politics, without this or without that, without spirituality, without religion. It's like, who are we when we're just sitting with ourselves? Who am I? Who am I that I say that I am? What is my mission statement for me, for myself? What is my mission statement? Right? Like every business has a mission statement. Most businesses, most legitimate businesses have a mission statement. The purpose of a mission statement is for you to know what the business is about. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. This is what we believe. Right? And that's kind of why, their mission statement, the purpose of the mission statement is to give you information so you can decide if you feel compelled to do business with them. Are you in alignment with their mission statement? Do you believe in what they believe? Is that who you want to give your time, your money, your energy, and your resources to, right? That's what a mission statement is for. Well, what is your mission statement? Most people don't have a mission statement for themselves or for their life. Most people don't know who they are, what they're about, why they're here. You're just a body, an avatar with a name, an identifier, right? Well, my name is Eddie. Here's my body. And I work at a job, right? And that's it. That's most people. Most people identify by their name and their occupation. Or, the third, a close kind of like a third element might be like your family. Like, my name is Eddie and I work at this company. Here's my title. And I'm married to such and such, right? Well, I'm not married, but like if you were married, that's usually what they'll say. They'll say, I'm married to such and such, right? I'm such and such as husband, or I'm such and such as wife, or I'm such and such as mother, or I'm such and such as father. And that's basically it. That's how most people identify themselves. Their name, their occupation, and their family, their immediate family. And if they're not married and they don't have children, maybe they, if it's somebody that they think that might know their extended family, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm such and such's son. I'm such and such's daughter, right? If you're in a small enough community that might know whoever such and such is, right? So the mask here, the illumination, so let's just back up really quick. Illumination. So the hurdle, obstacle, and challenge here for September is one, illumination. Illumination is this. Illumination is their God, source, the universe, spirit, whatever you believe, is wanting to present humanity, the collective, those of you that are here, that are watching, that are listening, is wanting to present you with a new paradigm, a new perception, a new perspective on life, something you've never considered before. Wants to awaken you, wants to give you a light bulb moment, wants to give you an epiphany, wants to give you a revelation. It could be about anything. But I can tell you that for most of you, it's about yourself. Wants to illuminate you to who you are so you can step into your power so that you can actually go out into the world and get what you want. Get what you want, not what you think you want based on the influence and all the indoctrination and the story and all the bullshit that's been programmed into your mind, right? A lot of you are pawns in somebody else's chess game. A lot of you are just pieces, or pawns in somebody else's chess game, and they're using you to get what they want, right? You're working at a company that you hate, you're working at a job you hate, and you're building the CEO's dreams. You're not building your dreams, you're building his dreams. You're there working as his employee so he can take his trips, so he can go on his vacation, so he can make his millions of dollars and enjoy his radical millionaire life, right? You're working for him. You're building his dreams, being his worker, shoveling his coal into the fire, rowing his boat, right? That's just an example. But there's an illumination happening, a collective illumination that is happening, a revelation, a worldwide revelation that the universe, God, source, the universe is trying to impart upon us so that we understand that we're awakening to something higher, something better, something deeper, something more profound. But the problem, the reason that this is necessary is because of this mask. There's so much superficial energy out there. There's so much, because people don't know who they are and they don't know what their purpose in life is. They're starved for validation. They're starved for attention. They're starved for a sense of lasting fulfillment, right? And so that's where significance comes in, validation, attention, right? It's like, ooh, me, look at me. Reward me, like me, heart me, like me, like the social media pandemic, right? putting your latest and greatest selfie out there so that people will like you and heart you, and the fake attention, and putting the new accolade out there, putting your new car out there, putting your new house out there, your latest promotion out there, right? It's like this desire to need to be inflated, right? The ego needs to be fed. The ego needs to be inflated. It needs to become greater and greater. It's like trying to feed a bottomless pit or a black hole. The monster is always hungry and it's never satisfied. And why is that? Well, because of the mask energy, right? It's superficial. And when we don't know who we are, we become an empty void. It's like, because what we don't understand is we've externalized, we've given our power away. We're out here, we're waiting for something outside of ourselves to fulfill our soul. And that's not how it works. That's not spirituality, right? And that's why I just gave the example a second ago about fake spirituality. Because true spirituality is the opposite of that. True spirituality is you figuring out who you are so that you can make yourself happy, and not relying upon anybody else to make you happy. Not relying upon people to like you, to validate you, to tell you you're good looking, to tell you you're successful, to tell you you're beautiful, to tell you this, to tell you you're that, or any other thing. It's you doing that for yourself, right? Connecting to something greater than you that also feeds you, right? And so, unfortunately, a lot of people right now are symptomizing and essentially manifesting various levels of sickness. Now, this could be in a very literal way. Like, you might be manifesting or materializing actual sickness in your body. It doesn't have to be physical. Some for you, it could be mental things. Like, you're just, you're having a lot of mental anxiety issues. And so maybe you're having to go out. You're having to get anxiety medicine. Or for some of you, it could be depression. And so you're having to get on depression medications. For some of you, it could be other types of addiction. Maybe you're medicating, right? Because we all have a tendency to medicate to fill a void, or to meet a need, or to escape a less than ideal feeling or sensation that we're experiencing when we're unhappy, right? So it's like, whether you eat to change how you feel, whether you drink to change how you feel, whether you eat to escape a feeling of ambition, whether you drink to escape a feeling of ambition, whether you sleep with a bunch of people, and have superficial relationships, or you're in a trauma bond, or you can't get over somebody, or you obsess over this person or that thing, right? Or you're attracted to unavailable people who have nothing to give you, or they're married, or whatever. Like, whatever the thing is, it's a sickness. It's an infection. And it's a disease. It's a soul disease. It's not. The root problem isn't in your body. It's not because you don't eat right and because you don't go to the gym. It's because your soul isn't aligned to a higher vibration. Like you can't. It's like we've chosen, right. Once we're mingling with low vibrational energy, what we don't understand is that low vibrational energy will take us lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower, to a point to where our soul can it's toxic. It's septic, essentially. It's like when an infection gets so bad that it starts to spread. It's like, it's past the point of an infection. Like, you got a cut on your arm when it started to get, it was infected, right? Like, it's like, okay, yeah, it's nasty, but it's local. It's right. It's just this one position. So it's one spot, right? But you left it untreated. So now it became septic, meaning it's spread throughout your entire body. And now you're in critical condition. That's essentially what this is saying. It's a soul problem, right? It's not just it's not a physical condition. Now, some of you are having issues right now. Like, it's a little bit separate than these other cards, but could be related. Some of you guys are having issues right now with family, or you're wanting a family, right? Some of you are having family-related issues on any scale, whatever that scale is. You can't provide for your family. You're fighting with an ex. You're fighting with your ex-husband, your ex-wife, whatever that situation is. Your parents, you came from, one of your parents is sick and you have to take care of them, or whatever the problem is. Or it's family in the sense of, like, everything's really inflated right now. The economy sucks. So, you're in fight, flight, or freeze mode right now. Because the economy, you're basically, everything that you do, like you're not focused on yourself right now. Like you're just in survival mode and you're trying to take care of your family because you live from paycheck to paycheck, right? Something like that. So maybe that's the challenge. So this is the main, and then at the bottom of the deck, we have children. I forgot that. So at the bottom of the deck, we have children. So obviously that energy is tied to families. So some of you guys either are wanting children or you have children. You're trying to put your children first. You're thinking about your children. You put yourself aside, so to speak. You've sacrificing, martyred yourself to start taking care of your children. Everything is for your children, blah, 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 blah. And while that's a survival instinct, like that's a parental survival instinct. And there's also the whole pressure of society because of like parental shaming, mom shaming, dad shaming, whatever kind of shaming you're experiencing because the expectation that you believe that is placed upon you, that society expects you to act and be and do and behave a certain type of way as a parent and provide a certain type of lifestyle for your kids. And maybe you feel like you're struggling to do so. So there's a lot of pressure on you. So you're martyring yourself. You're losing yourself to try to meet the illusion of expectation that you feel is placed upon you, even though it's not really been placed directly upon you. It's just a belief that you have. It's you think that belief exists, right? That's just why the illumination card is here. It's basically saying, hey, I'm trying to illuminate you to the fact that you're putting more pressure on yourself to be this martyr for your children when you're not even giving yourself credit for the things you've already done for your kids. Like you might actually be a badass parent. You might be a fucking amazing parent, amazing parent, to your children. You might provide more for them than they even like their mind's not even thinking about this. Like your kids are not sitting there grading you going, man, mom or dad, wow. Let's give mom or dad a report card. How are they doing? How did they do this month? Did I get the things that I wanted? Did they spend this much money on me? Did I get this much blah, 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 blah? Like kids don't think like that, right? Kids are far more simplistic than we are. They're more innocent, like kids can be completely fine with very, very little. I mean, a kid can go outside and find a stick, pretend it's a sword or a gun, and they've got imaginary aliens and monsters, and they're out saving the world with a stick that costs nothing. You didn't have to buy them anything, right? They found it on the ground and they're out saving the world. It's a machine gun. It's a sword. It's a magic wand, right? It's like we put the pressure on ourselves as adults to provide for our children based on the expectations of what we think that means because we've gone out and we've seen the way that other people do things and we're comparing. We compare ourselves to how other people are doing it. We compare ourselves to other parents. We compare ourselves to what other people have versus what we don't have. Instead of cutting all that bull crap out of our life and realizing like my kids are actually pretty freaking happy. My kids are pretty awesome. My kids are pretty okay. Like my kids haven't given me a big fat F on my report card. My kids aren't even giving me a report. My kids aren't judging me. I'm judging me. I'm the person that's criticizing me. I'm the person that's comparing me to the other world, right? To everyone else out there, the other parents, right? So there's that energy. Now, for some of you, this could be the challenge maybe that you're single, you haven't had children, you wanted a family, you wanted children, and that hasn't happened for you yet, right? And so the problem for you, the challenge for you is that you think that it may not happen, and that's the sickness that you're in. The sickness that you're in is the sickness of denial, the sickness of impossibility, the sickness of a lack of faith, a lack of belief, a sickness of, well, I'm 40 years old and I'm not married, I don't have any kids, I guess I'll never have any. And all I ever wanted to be was a mother, and I'm 40 years old. Well, guess what? I know people who've been 45 years old, 46 years old, and they've had children, right? And I'm not dooming you and saying you have to wait you're going to be 40, 45, 46 having children. What I'm saying is that what matters more than anything is your belief about a situation, about your reality, rather, the power or either the power that you're claiming or the power that you're giving away. That's the best way I know to say it. You're either through your own beliefs. So if you believe that you're not going to have children because you're 40 years old and it's too late, then you're right. You're not going to have children because that's what you're the creator of your reality. You're feeding that belief with your energy. And so it's like you wave a magic wand. Okay. All right. It is as you wish. Your wish is my command. Right? The whole genie thing, right? Or you could say, hey, you know what? Just because it hasn't happened yet, and yes, just because it hasn't happened in my time, I would have ideally liked to have been a little bit younger. Sure, there are some things that I would have ideally liked to have happened a little bit differently than the way that they have. It doesn't nullify the reality that the fact that you can still have this. It doesn't change the possibility for you. All things are possible for those who believe. You have to let go. You have to stop empowering disempowering beliefs and start empowering the empowering beliefs. That's what it's saying for you. All right. So this is kind of like the collective beginning here, right? So let's take a look and see here. Additional information about this for the collective. What else does the collective need to know right now? So we have go the distance, we have poise. So this is like the poise card is really about it's like the star card in tarot, essentially. And we have chop wood. Anything else? Okay, no, we have new life. Beautiful. Because with new beliefs comes a new life. Actually, I'm just set that right up there next to that one. Actually, I might try to move these here because I'm going to pull a few other ones. So we know what these cards are. I'm OCD. I'm a Virgo. Okay, so we have go the distance, we have poise, we have chop wood, and we have new life. So the go the distance again is saying that life and the things that we desire, they're not a sprint, it's a marathon. And one of the irritations that I have, one of the complaints that I have in the law of attraction community is the idea is timing. Because the truth is, guys, there's an element of the law of attraction that we are responsible for, and there's a part of it that we are not responsible for. There's a part that's ours to do, there's a part that's not ours to do. Right? And even if you don't believe in the law of attraction, you just call it manifesting. It's the same thing. There's a part that's yours to do, and there's a part that is not yours to do. Right? So for example, you want children, you want to make a baby. Well, what do you have to do to make a baby? Well, a guy has, and a girl have to hook up. And even if you don't have a guy, you're going to still need something that comes from a male. You're going to need sperm, right? You're going to have to somehow you're going to have to get that item, right? You're going to need that item to fertilize your eggs. That's just how it is, right? So with or without a man's assistance, at least directly with or without a man's assistance, you're going to need that item to have a child, unless you adopt. Unless you already, well, I don't have a child of my own. I'm going to go adopt a child. Okay, well, cool. Then you just go out. You have to go through the process of adopting a child. But if you want a child of your own, you want to biologically give birth to a child, then you need that item. That's it. That's how it works. I didn't make that. I didn't make the law. I didn't create the way that it is, but that's just the way that it is. You're going to need sperm to fertilize an egg. You're going to have to get pregnant, and then that child will come out of your body if you're a woman, right? That's just how it is. That's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It doesn't come out instantly just because you want it today. Tomorrow you don't get a child. Same thing with adoption. You want a kid, you want to adopt a kid. You don't just go down to the pound, fill out some paperwork, and cool, here you are, here's the kid. It's not like, getting a puppy out of the pound. It's a process. So, the go the distance here is reminding most of you that just because life doesn't look the way that you think it should right now, just because there's challenges, just because it's been difficult, just because you've gone through 3, 4, 5 breakups, this person was toxic, the next person was toxic, that person betrayed you, then that person betrayed you, then that person betrayed. It's like whatever your story is, where you look back and say, yeah, but it's been the same thing again and again and again and again and again. It's like, hey, look, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? Like you may have to go 5 times. You've gone through the 5 times before maybe the 6th person is the person for you. Maybe it's the 10th person was the right person for you, right? Right. I remember a time in my life where my higher self told me if I wasn't willing to go through 1,000 divorces, I'd never be ready for marriage. Well, why did it say that to me? Well, because, the thing that fucked me up was my divorce. And it was difficult. It's the most difficult. I wouldn't wish that pain on my worst enemy. The emotional part of it. It wasn't the process. That was easy. There was nothing to it. Like the going to the court, and the judge basically just signed a piece of paper and off we went. We didn't have lawyers. We didn't have children. There was no big long fight or anything. It was the emotional distress that was difficult. And I wouldn't wish that part, that pain on anyone. So, if you're not willing to go through 1,000, whatever, disappointments, struggles, losses, betrayals, whatever it is that's standing between you and your desire, then you're never going to be ready for that thing. And so why did my higher self tell me that? It was because it was trying to make a point in an extreme way. It was using an extreme metaphor to make its point, which was this. It's like, look, dude, I know that you're scared. I know you're afraid. I know that you're behaving in such a way that's not true to yourself because you're trying to self-preserve. You're trying to keep yourself safe above all else. You want to be safe. You don't want to mess up again. You don't want to F up again. You want to make a mistake again. You want to be betrayed again. You want to be lied to again. You don't want to be heartbroken again. All these very, very human things that you don't want to happen to you, right? But if you're not willing to enter the treasure, the treasure you seek is in the cave you fear to enter. Joseph Campbell. The treasure you seek is in the cave you fear to enter. If you're not willing to go into that cave 1,000 times, courageously, boldly, going, hey, you know what I want means so much to me. It's a test, guys. It's just a test. That's all it is. This desire that you have for whatever it is, if your desire is love, if your desire is money, if it's status, if it's achievement, if it's a job, if it's a partner, if it's a child, whatever your desire is, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Are you going to give up because you didn't get it on the first try? Are you going to give up because you didn't give it on the second try, or the third try, or the fourth try, or the fifth try? Or are you not ever going to give up? Are you so determined that you burn your boats to take the island and you say, you know what? F this. I'm going to effing have this thing because this is what I want, and I'm never going to give up until I have it. That's the level of determination that we have to have. I'm getting chills. You have to have a level of determination, a tenacity within you, a knowing, something greater than you, something deeper than you, something bigger than you. You have to investigate. It's the illumination energy. You have to go within yourself to connect to something so deep and so profound and so powerful. So you know exactly, even why it is that you want the thing that you think that you want, because sometimes that's even wearing a mask. Your desire is a mask. It's like, well, do I really even want that thing? Have you thought about it? Is it worth going into the cave 1,000 times? Is this the thing that you're willing to fight for again and again and again and again and again? Is this that thing that's worth this amount of effort and time and energy? Or is it not? And only you and I can answer that question. That is a personal question that only you can answer within yourself, right? But the go the distance energy really is about never giving up. It's the strength card in tarot. It's the Nine of Wands. It's like, man, I'm down, but I'm not out. I've been through hell and back, but I haven't given up yet. Yeah, you beat me down. It's Rocky. It's the movie Rocky. Rocky gets the shit beat out of him again and again and again. And he's sitting, he's in the corner. And he feels like he wants to give up. But his corner, his coach, Mick, reminds him, tells him, Rocky, you know, you can do this, man. And I forget the exact quote, but he gets in his ear and reminds him of who he is. And Rocky's got nothing to lose. He got the crap beat out of him for however many rounds. He's got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose at this point. So he just taps into his heart, right? And it's all heart at that point. And that's when it gets to down to the wire. That thin line, that paper thin line between two forces, two colliding forces. Who wants it more? There's that phrase. Who wants it more? Whoever, the heart, right? It all comes down to heart. Who's got the heart? Who's willing to fight for it? Fight for it past the pain, past the disappointment, past the betrayal, past all the BS. There's something inside of you that says, no, I know this sucks. I know this hurts. I know that I've been knocked down and knocked down and knocked down and knocked down and betrayed and betrayed and betrayed, disappointed. But something inside of you gets up again and says, I will not stop. I will learn from this. I will grow from this. I will become bigger. I will become greater. I will become stronger. I will become more clear. I will have boundaries. I'll figure this thing out. You're playing with a Rubik's Cube, right? You're just flipping the thing. You're just flipping the blocks around to get all the colors to match up. You're playing Tetris with yourself. You're not playing Tetris with them. You're playing Tetris with you. It's you against you. You are your own worst enemy. Not the people that hurt you. They're not the ones who determine whether you're going to give up on the dreams, goals, desires that you have for yourself. That's why you shouldn't give your power away to those things. You should never give your power away to somebody else and say, oh, I'm going to put my dreams, my goals, my desires into the hands of other people so that when those people let me down, I give up on my dreams, goals, and desires. That makes no sense. That's insanity, guys. That's absolute insanity. You should never, ever, ever put the things that you desire most into the hands of somebody else so that when they don't follow through, they don't meet your expectations, you give up on the things that you desire. Makes no sense. Those things are those are your pearls of great price. That's your treasure, right? It's okay to say, well, I thought maybe I started to believe that maybe that person was going to be the thing that I was trying to manifest. That's okay. That's human. That's totally legit. That's fine. But the minute you realize that they're not, you grow and you take those things back for yourself and you say, nope, you're not it. That's fine. Lesson learned. There was growth here. Something I needed to understand, learn, receive, decipher. There's something from this situation that I needed to inherit for my benefit. There's a treasure in this pile of shit that I'm supposed to inherit for myself. And if you can extract that treasure, then it's just going to add to the things that you already desired. But for the love of God, don't give your desires to that thing, to that person outside of you, because that person, when they can't fulfill it, or they betray you, or they disappoint you, then you have no desires anymore because you gave it to them. And they didn't give, and they didn't take the thing that you gave to them, and they didn't make it come true for you. So now you're powerless. Now you're hopeless. Now it's like, well, I'm going to give up on it. That person over there didn't make my dreams come true. It's not shame on them. It's shame on you. That was your dreams. Those are your dreams. That wasn't their dreams. That was your dreams. Why the fuck you giving it to them? If it's your dreams, man. Hold on to your dreams, goals, and desires. That's what the go the distance card is here, right? And if you can hold on to your dreams, goals, and desires, then you're into the next card, which is the poise card, the star card. You're standing in your power. You're standing in your confidence. You're holding on to your dream. You're holding on to your hope. That's what the star energy is. It's about hope. It's about wishes. It's about faith. And the star in tarot comes after the tower, which is the worst card in the tarot deck, right? It's not the death card. It's not the devil. There's a lot of other cards that, we could say are quote unquote negative cards, even though that's not true. But we could say, if we're going to make a list of the cards that you probably don't want just showing up in your reading, like if I was going to make a list, the devil can be hit or miss. It depends. The devil, it depends. I'm going to go 50-50 on the devil showing up in a reading for me, right? The death card, I'm going to go 60-40 on the devil, on the death card, 60-40. 60-40 on the death card. I'm going to go, what else do we have? I'll have to look at my list here because I'm in the heat of the moment. What am I missing here? I mean, these are the big ones. The death card, the devil, the tower. Yeah, I'm looking down, and maybe justice. See, justice is one of those ones that can get you too, because justice is karma. I'll put justice at the bottom of the list, though. Or no, maybe right in the middle. Because justice is the one who goes around slapping people on the hands and giving out the punishment, because that's what karma is. So you have justice, I'm going to go 50-50. Devil, I'm going to go 50-50. The death card, I'm going to go 60-40. But the tower is like 90-10. The tower shows up in your reading. That's when you hold your breath, because shit's about to blow up. The tower is the one where you hold your breath and you go, okay, is this a good tower or a bad tower? Because if it's a bad tower, I'm screwed. Because the tower is the one that don't mess around, right? Well, the star comes after the tower. The star is the magic. It's the hope. It's the rebuilding. It's the light after the destruction. It's like, hey, yes, the tower comes. It's like a nuclear bomb and blows everything up and your life is ruined. Your relationship was blown up and devastated and ruined. Your life is ruined. Whatever. Everything gets blown up with the tower. The tower is no little thing, by the way. The tower is like the worst case situation. It's your whole life blowing up. Something in your life blowing up. Whatever the tower represents is blowing up, it's blowing up. Right? It's not halfway blowing up, it's blowing up completely. The star happens after the tower. The star is the hope after the destruction. It's the hope for the future. It's the miracle that comes after something so devastating, right? And that's the paradox. That's the duality of it. It's like, man, this crazy, difficult, massive, radical, explosive thing that blew my life up happened. But look at the beauty of what happened as a result of it. Look at the hope. Look at the miracle that happened as a result of it, right? That's the paradox between those two cards. Well, the poise card here is the star. It's the miracle. It's the miracle of what happens when you go the distance. But we're now at the chop wood card. The chop wood card is essentially our place of responsibility within that dynamic. Well, what do I mean by that, right? Well, so we all have a responsibility in everything. Like it's never just the universe's job to handle everything for us any more than it is a partner, whether it's or a family member or our children or our job or our boss or whoever, right? We have we have to take like 99% responsibility and self-accountability for every action, thought, decision, emotion, belief, everything. Are you taking, 100% responsibility for the entirety of your life, including the results that you're getting out of life? And like, yeah, but I wasn't responsible for everything that happened. No, I get that. Like, I understand that there are things that happen that you didn't want those things to happen. You didn't cause those things to happen intentionally, but we have 100% responsibility for our reaction to those things. Like, we can't control everything that happens to us, but we can absolutely control our response to the things that happen to us, right? And that's what the chop wood card is saying, right? So on one hand, the chop wood is saying, hey, take responsibility for the things that happen in your life instead of being a victim, instead of blaming, instead of feeling entitled, like, oh, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. It's like, well, now you're powerless. Now you're stuck in this powerless place where you just feel like, you're victimized. Well, okay, well, you can be a victim and stay in victim mentality and nothing's going to move forward for you. Your life you're not going to get what you want. Or you can go, okay, well, that did happen to me. It sucked. It hurt. I didn't like it. And I definitely wouldn't wish that on anybody else. But you know what? I'm not going to let what happened to me define me. I'm going to get up. I'm going to keep moving and I'm going to keep growing. And I'm not going to let whoever or whatever happened to me win, so to speak, by allowing what they did to me to rub off on me so that I can grow and expand. Because now that's what you've done. They win. They're the winner. They walk away the victory. You handed them your power. You gave your power away to them. And now you're over here. You're laying in the corner, beat, broken, lost, confused, left for dead. And you're doing nothing with yourself. Instead of going, hey, look again, mother effer. I'm back on my feet. I'm moving forward. I'm successful. I'm better. I'm stronger. I'm faster. I'm more beautiful. I'm smarter. I'm more successful, right? Integrate that thing into your life to make you a badass. Don't let that thing rub off on you. Don't let it deplete you. Don't let it define you as some piece of trash garbage. No. Integrate those things into you. Rise up from the ashes and become a badass mother effer, right? Move forward. Take that thing and say, hey, you tried to beat me down. You tried to throw me in the trash. You tried to leave me for dead. You thought you could control me. You thought you could manipulate me. You thought you could rob me, steal from me, abuse me. You thought you could define me. You thought you could project your crap onto me. You thought I was weak. You thought I was scared. You thought I was fearful. You thought I was worthless. You thought I was trash. Whatever. Right? Prove yourself different. Get up. Rise up. Get up out of the ashes. Show them. Go live your life. Become a badass motherfucker. Stand up for yourself. Prove to them. It's like, look what you did to me. Look what you did to me. Look at this beauty. Look at this glory. Look at this success. Look at all this badassery that you added on to me. Thank you. Thank you for giving me that blessing. Thank you for stabbing me in the back. Thank you for betraying me. Thank you for leaving me. Thank you for abusing me and beating me down and treating me like crap. Thank you for projecting all of your fears, your doubts, and insecurities onto me. Thank you. Because I alchemized it. I'm the magician. I transformed that shit. I turned it into my glory and my power, and I assimilated it into myself. And I utilized it, and I turned it into power. And now I'm more powerful. I'm more powerful than I ever was than when I was with that person or in that situation or in that circumstance. Because you used it. You transformed it. That's what true spirituality is about. It's understanding the concept of alchemy. I'm not going to explain it because this reading isn't about that. But research it. Look into what alchemy, spiritual alchemy is. Look up spiritual alchemy. Right? Look at spiritual alchemy. And see how the things that happen to us are for our empowerment. It's only our perception when we believe that we've lost, we've been betrayed, we're not good enough, and again, this person did this to me, and again, that person did that to me, and again and again and again and again. I always attract cheaters. I always attract this. I always attract that. I can never get ahead. I'm always poor. I'm always this. I'm always that. You're right. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You've been given all these gifts and you've done nothing with them. You've not integrated every gift that you've been given. You've not integrated that gift into yourself and say, did you take the thing and become a better person? No, you didn't. You became a worse person and a worse person because you allowed the external world to define you instead of grabbing hold of the power or the treasure within that pile of shit to empower you so you can step up and rise up and become a better version of you, because that's why those things happen to us. Bad things do not happen to good people to make good people lesser people. Things happen to good people to make good people into powerful people, because good people are not always powerful people. They're good people. They're not necessarily powerful people. There's a difference, right? Be a powerful person. Don't just be a good person. Be a powerful person, right? That's what this is about. That's what this chopped wood card is about. It's about you stepping into your power. It's about you going through the process of chopping wood. It's steps, right? There's a process. You can't run before you walk. When a baby is born, they can't do anything. Well, they get a little bit older and they start to fumble around. They're crawling around. They can't do that very well. They're on all fours and they're shaky. They're wobbly, right? But then they get a hang of it. Hey, I can crawl around. I got a hang of this thing. But you know, just like I know, that that's not the end game, right? Just like me and just like you, we're walking mother efforts. We stand on two legs and we walk. We run. We do things with our two legs. We don't have a problem with that. We don't even think about that, right? It's on autopilot at this stage in our lives. But that little child, what do we have to do? We have to pick them up, and they're on their legs, and we have to hold them, and then we let them take it a few steps, and we let them fall. Pick them back up. We hold them. Let them go. We let them take a few steps. We let them fall. We let them do that again and again and again until they're bracing themselves against the couch. They're bracing themselves against the wall. They're bracing themselves against the chair. They start figuring it out. Okay, that the kid is the one who's making the decision, by the way, not you. You're not the one that's deciding that child is going to walk. That child is deciding, I'm going to walk. They're figuring it out. You might have assisted them. You might have been their training wheels. But that kid's determination decides, I'm going to do what they're doing. I'm going to walk. And then eventually, what does the kid do? They're walking. And then what happens? The minute that kid gets their autonomy and their freedom, what are they? They're climbing on the counters. They're climbing in everything. They're in everything. It's like, man, it's like their brain goes from their brain breaks this barrier of like, oh my God, if I can do this, what else can I do? Their brain goes buck wild, and it's like now everything is game. And that child has no concept of like, I'm an infant. I'm in a very, very fragile place. I'm a very small, fragile creature, and I'm crawling up on things. I'm getting into things. I'm playing with knives. Like it's like they have no concept of all these potentially harmful things that they're interacting with. Right? But it's also a beautiful place because most kids don't get harmed, even though they interact with harmful situations. There's an innocence in that freedom because they're not induced by fear, right? And that's the beauty of why in the Bible or in ancient and sacred texts it says to be like children. To be innocent of mind, be innocent of heart, to be innocent of spirit, which essentially just means to remove all fear. To remove all fear and play. Be in the world as if it's one big sandbox. And that's what, again, this chopped wood card is here and what it's all about. Okay, so this is kind of like, let me get just one more, some more information here, just really quick, and then we'll leave this part of the reading. And then I'll just do a quick read on like the practical things. So this is the core. This is the important part of the reading. And I know it's very long. So let's take a look here. And a couple of surrender cards. Okay, so we have surrender to your soul's path. Again, yes, for a lot of you guys, The illumination energy is about you guys waking up to the fact that you were meant to wake up, to come out of the matrix. You're not meant to just live a cookie cutter life, go to school, get a degree, have a family, white picket fence, work your job, retire, take some trips to Disney World, and then die. Have grandchildren. Some of you have a spiritual calling, right? And spiritual calling doesn't mean that you just do tarot cards on YouTube. Spiritual calling doesn't just mean, it could be anything. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe it's an insurance business. Maybe it's starting some type of invention, or you invent something, or you patent something, or you're meant to be a teacher or a life coach, or you're whatever it is. It can be anything. But the way that you do it is very unique. It's different than the way that it's already being done. You have a spiritual perception. You have spiritual insights. You have a non-traditional, or a I don't even know how to say it, like a non-matrixy. You're not just following, the program beliefs of the world, right? You're not just following like, okay, I went to school and the universities taught me this, the schools taught me that, my degrees taught me that way or this way, and all of these things, right? You are getting your concept, your ideas, you're getting them from the higher place, from your higher self, from spirit, the divine, from source, whatever you call it. You're receiving downloads from a source greater than you about how to do something that, yes, maybe other people are doing it, but you know that you're meant to do it in a way that's never been done before. You are individual in that. No one will ever do the thing that you feel called to do the way that you know that you're meant to do it, because of the downloads that you've been given. And when you've been given information about something, you've been given a responsibility, because there's roughly 8 billion other people on this planet that don't have the information that you have. So what are you going to do with the information? You were singled out. You were the one that information came to. You were the person that received that download. You were the one who is meant to take that information and actualize it and do something with it, become it, teach it, give it, whatever that thing is. You were meant to take that information and impart it, not somebody else. That's what makes you specific and special and unique. Nobody else will ever have that information or that knowledge, because nobody else is getting that revelation, right? So you're special. So whatever that is for you, it's saying surrender your soul's path. But this is what the card says. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. So for many of you, again, this illumination card that we have, which is part of the hurdle, obstacle, and struggle, is really just realizing like, I'm unfulfilled, I'm unsatisfied in life, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, this is why you're unfulfilled and why you're struggling and why you're not happy in your life, no matter what guy, what girl, or what you're doing or what you're not doing and all these other things, is because essentially you're not living your destiny. You're not living your purpose. Your purpose depressed. That's what that means. Like you're a purpose depressed person, right? And that's what purpose depression is. Purpose depression is when we're stuck in a place in our lives where we're not doing the things that our soul knows it was meant and intended to do, right? And so you have a calling on your life, a calling and a mission that's different than other people, and you're meant to follow that. And so the universe is trying to illuminate you. It's trying to get you to realize, hey, you're different, you're special, you're unique, you have a calling in your life. You need to go follow it. And we have to surrender to trust. And that's what it's saying. It's the faith. It's trusting the fact that you have a purpose and a calling. It's learning how to trust. It's learning how to trust things. It's learning first how to trust yourself, because you are the most spiritual vessel that there is. Now, I know that doesn't, a lot of you may disagree with that. You're like, well, this other person is super gifted and they're more spiritual and they're a psychic and they get answers and I don't, and this person's more spiritual than me, they're more psychic than me, they can channel and they're so gifted and they can read the future, they know the future, they can talk to dead people, they can do this. It's like, look, I get that. Yes, certain people can have talents and skills that you don't have. I get that, right? But when it comes to you knowing what's best for you, you know more than they do. It doesn't matter how good I am at reading these cards. It doesn't matter how intuitive I am as a reader or a medium or a spiritual or a tarot reader or a whatever. None of that shit matters. I am not you. I don't know what's best for you. I'm not in your body. I have not lived your life. I have not had your experiences. I'm not in your reality. So at the end of the day, no matter what I say, again, hypothetically, if, you know, me and you were having a conversation, you were coming to me and you're like, well, what do you think, Eddie? What's your advice? You know, this is your neck of the woods. You help people. You're a coach and you're into spirituality and life coaching and you do all these things. What's your advice? Right? Well, my advice is for you to trust you. Don't trust me. I mean, yes, I can tell you what I think. I can tell you what cards say. We can sit here and we can try to gather information that will help you or assist you in learning how to trust. But at the end of the day, you need to learn how to trust yourself. You need to learn how to make a decision or have faith in things that you do not have all the evidence for. It's like, yeah, but like you need to, and really what trust means is like, you need to get comfortable stepping out of your comfort zone, right? Believing, having faith, trusting in something that you can't see, there's no evidence for it, and it's uncomfortable. Like, man, I'm going to leave my comfort zone to go do this? Yeah. Yeah, you are. And you've done it a million times. You've had to leave your comfort zone a million times in your life. You just don't realize it because you don't think about it. Every time you leave your house, you leave your comfort zone. Every time you go to work, you leave your comfort zone. Every time you get into a relationship. Yeah, all those relationships where you were betrayed, cheated on, lied to, this, that, and the other. What were you doing? You were leaving your comfort zone. You were going back into a situation with a complete stranger that you didn't know, right? Like before you knew who that person was, they were a stranger. There was a time where that person was a stranger to you. You did not know them. As you began to learn about them, they were no longer a stranger to you. And then as you learn and you learn and you learn, you spend enough time, you gain trust, you gain trust, you gain trust, you gain trust. Eventually, you have feelings for them, they have feelings for you, and next thing you know, you're in a relationship with them. You're living with them under the same roof. You're sleeping in the same bed. You're becoming one with them. You're having sex with them. I mean, you basically put your life in their hands to some extent, right? How much more trust is there than that? But at one point in your life, they were a complete stranger. So, and you've done that again and again and again and again and again. You know, so this isn't new. You've left your comfort zone a million times before. And I'm just reminding you that you've left your comfort zone a million times before. This isn't new to you. You've done this before. So Spirit is saying, do the thing that you've done before, but just apply it to this one thing. It's just we compartmentalize. It's like, oh, but this thing is so much more scary. No, it's not. It's not so much more scary. You're making it that much more scary because you're projecting that much more energy and fear and uncertainty and all. You're making a molehill into a mountain. Spirit's saying, stop doing that. If you treated whatever that thing is for you, your goal, your spirit, your spiritual vision, your mission in life, a relationship, your desire, whatever that thing is, if you just treated it the same way you've treated other things, and you had that same level of trust, you just go do it. That's it. You just go do it. There wouldn't be anything else to it. You just go do it. And that's what they're saying. Just go do it. Just go do it. Treat it the same way. Treat it the same way you treated your high school boyfriend. You're like, oh, that guy from my high school? Yeah. Remember when you just started flirting with each other and the guy kind of liked this guy. Cool. And then you just kind of like, you know, I don't know where this is going. I don't know this guy. But he's funny and he's flirty and like whatever the hell. I'm just rolling with it. You didn't know it was going to turn into a relationship. You didn't know what the future held, you didn't care. You're just rolling with it. That's what Spirit is saying. Surrender to trust. Spirit's willing, saying just roll with it. Just go with it. Stop making it into something bigger than it has to be, right? So there's that. All right, so let's take a look at so let's look at love. All right, so really quick. For those of you that are interested in matters of the heart. So let's see what the tarot has to say for those of you interested in the matter of the heart, and then I'll grab a few cards over here for those of you that are interested in career and money related issues and things. Again, this isn't going to resonate for everybody. Some of you it will, some of you it won't. Okay. So for some of you, you could be dealing with a earth sign. For some of you, okay, you could be an earth sign. Queen of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. So you, the watcher, could be a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, or you could be a water sign, a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Or you could be dealing with a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, or you could be dealing with a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So we have earth and water on the table. What else do we need to know? We have Five of Pentacles, which is tied to the sickness energy here. So either you or this person basically just feel like, there's no options. You feel lonely. Maybe you've been dealing with financial struggles. Money's been the focus. Money hasn't been, you haven't really been focused on love because financially you've been burdened. That could be for some of you. Now, for others of you, it's just like, hey, I can't, I just feel alone. I feel lonely. I don't feel safe, seen, heard, or understood. I meet people, but I just don't connect with anybody. It's just a lonely world out there because everyone's superficial, or nobody wants, a traditional commitment anymore. Nobody wants to put, effort in anymore, whatever that is. Or some of you are licking your wounds because of a recent or a past person. So there's a lot of different things that this Five of Pentacles relates to here. Okay. What else? Okay, we have Emperor now. So this is Aries energy. So you could be in Aries. You could be dealing with Aries. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. You could be, either in your masculine energy, or you're looking for somebody who is your divine masculine. Either one. Depends on who you are and how this relates to you. And then we have the Three of Pentacles here. So some of you could have been in a love triangle. There could have been a person, a man, juggling two women. And that obviously didn't turn out very well for you with the Five of Pentacles, Yeah, Eight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Unfulfilled, unhappy, walking away, leaving a disappointing situation behind, which obviously it would be because, it wasn't honest. It wasn't healthy. It was bullshit. It was lies. So what I'm going to say with this, just for those of you in the love department here, what I'm going to say is, because there's multiple, the beauty about tarot, the deeper you go into tarot, what you realize is these cards are really pulling in like so many different energies beyond just whatever it is that you think they're pulling in. And sometimes it just takes a lot to really start to see how the tarot is kind of like killing like 10 birds with one stone, so to speak, right? Because the answer is often in the solution to the problem is often being presented in the answer to the question you're receiving. It's just bizarre like that. I don't completely know how or why it works like that, but it does, And so the answer is present even with. The solution is present with the answer to the question we just asked about, which is love, right? So regardless of who you are, you don't have to be an earth sign, you don't have to be a water sign, you don't have to be an Aries or any of that. But the answer really is here. It's about taking leadership of your own life. It's about you becoming the leader of your own life. It's about you taking your power back, because the Emperor sits in his power. That's why he's the Emperor. If he wasn't sitting in his power, then somebody else would have taken his power. Then he wouldn't be the emperor, because he would have been dethroned. The emperor is the man in power, so to speak, or the woman in power. It doesn't matter, man or woman, it doesn't matter. It's just who's in charge of your life right now. Right? Now, you have to think about that in a broad spectrum. Who or what is controlling your thought? Is the past controlling your thought? Is the future controlling your thought? Is your present controlling your thought? Do you feel powerless? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel helpless? Like what where are you spending most of your time and your energy? Where are you spending most of your mental and your thoughts? Where are your emotions? Do you feel empowered, or do you feel powerless? Right? That's the emperor energy. So the emperor is the answer. The emperor is saying, regardless of what's happened to you, regardless of what you've experienced, yes, you need to walk away from things that no longer serve you. The Eight of Cups is absolutely 100% true. Some things in your life need to die. The Death card is right underneath the Eight of Cups. Some things need to die. Scorpio energy. Maybe you were dealing with a Scorpio. Maybe a Scorpio fucked you over. I don't know. Right? And if you're a Scorpio, no harm, no foul. Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is excitement. It's going out like a little kid, exploring with excitement. Right? Going back to the beginning of the reading, picking up that stick and pretending it's a gun, pretending it's a sword, pretending it's a magical wand, and going out and slaying aliens and monsters, or pretending you're Frodo in the Lord of the Rings movie and you're going on a wild adventure, right? Just going out in life, having fun. Why? Because there's something beautiful. There's beautiful, wonderful new opportunities waiting for you. But before you get to those opportunities, guess what you have to do? You have to let the dead bury the dead. The Death card, let the dead bury the dead. And you have to be willing to walk away from those things that no longer serve you. The things that are disappointing to you, walk away from them. Be done with them. You can't hold on to things that are not energetically producing a positive outcome for you, and then expect a positive outcome from the things that are not energetically producing a positive outcome. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. That's the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is, I'm done playing that game. I'm not playing that game anymore. That's the Eight of Cups. No more of that, right? When it comes to love, I'm going to go and pursue something solid, stable, that's worthy of my love and worthy of my attention. I'm not playing this love, the three of Pentacles, love triangle, being left out, I'm not being somebody else's option. I'm not somebody, and now if you're into polygamy and you're into open relationships or ENM, ethical, non-monogamous relationships, if that's your thing, no judgment here. I'm just going with what's here for the collective. And that's not what this is. This row for the people that are interested in love and relationships, this row here is not for polyamorous people. It's not for ENM people, and it's not for people that are into open relationships. This is for people that are looking for a single human being to love them with all their heart, mind, soul, body, strength, and all the things. That's who this is for. And the universe is saying, take your power back, walk away from all the other shit behind you that was not that thing for you, and go find it. The Eight of Cups is not the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is your wish fulfilled. That's why the person in the Eight of Cups is walking to the Nine of Cups, because the Nine of Cups is you finding the thing that is actually worthy and fulfilling of your desire. But you have to become the Emperor, right? That's why the Emperor drives the Chariot card. And in the Chariot card, the Emperor is the person driving the chariot. He's the person who's going after the thing that he wants. And he's not going to stop until he gets it, right? That's who you need to become. You need to take your power back. You need to become the Emperor. You need to go after the thing that you want, and you need to leave all the things that you don't want behind. For those of you looking for love. Now let's take a quick look at career. Money, relationships, and career. And keep in mind that we have this new life card here, which I didn't talk about. I talked about go the distance, poise, and chop wood, but I didn't talk about the new life. You have a new life available to you if you do what we've talked about in this reading, and that's the silver lining. The silver lining of this reading is, again, what can you do in 1 month? Because this is September. This is just September, the month of September. You can have a whole different life by the end of September, moving into October. You can be surprised. You could be shocked and surprised by what you're walking into by October. That fast. But only if you take action, right? You can't just listen to these readings and go, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I understand. I know. Okay, blah, blah, blah. You can't just mentally get it. You got to go do it. Okay, so when it comes to career, education, you may need to take a class or do research to find a better position, or you may find yourself writing a book or teaching others, right? So some of you, that may apply. Some of you may not apply. For those of you that are looking for money and career advice, right? Next card says progress. It seems like a long slog, yeah, because you got to go the distance. But your efforts will pay off soon if you keep chopping wood. Stay on course for at least a few more months before making a change. Yeah. So I would say for most of you guys, I would not rock the boat. I wouldn't really, like, if you can help it. Some of you can, some of you can't. But if you can help it, I would wait until after the election is over, especially if you live here in the West in America. Like, it is what it is. And again, I'm not here promoting politics. I don't care what side you're on. It has nothing to do with that. I'm just simply saying that election years are very uncertain because we don't know who's gonna be promoted into power or into office. We don't know what to expect based on what they say that they're going to do, what their policies are. So, we're just having to kind of wait and see. The stock market fluctuates during election years. Like, everything fluctuates. We don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty because we're all waiting to find out who's going to be in charge for the next 4 years. So that's what this card is saying. It's like, hey, if you don't have to make a decision, don't. Just wait until after the election is over before you make any major decisions. Okay? Okay, we have saving face as the last card. Third card. You may need to grin and bear it to maintain respect and keep your job, or you need to smile and make nice to get the position you want. Yeah, so again, if you're in an unhappy position, you may just have to suck it up for now until a couple of months from now. For those of you who are trying to get it promoted, you may have to, quote unquote, kiss ass. You may have to brown nose. You may have to suck up to somebody, right? You may just have to pretend. Like, oh man, I hate this. Like, I don't like this person or that person. I'm not fake. I hate being disingenuous or inauthentic and all that kind of thing. But if you really, 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 really want this position and you know that you can go for it, you may have to brown nose a little bit. You may have to be fake a little bit. Put on a fake smile and go in there and act like you give a crap about things you don't really give a crap about. That's what it's saying. And at the bottom of the deck, we have success, which is good. So the path you are on will bring you success and prosperity if you just keep going. Go the distance, go the distance, go the distance. This card is like the cornerstone of the whole reading. The go the distance card is the cornerstone of everything for everybody. It's like the universe is just telling everybody, hey, whatever you're doing, you just need to keep going. Focus on the target, focus on the thing you want, and just keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't stop. Just keep going. Keep chopping wood, keep chopping wood, keep chopping wood, right? Like, don't stop chopping until the tree falls down. That's what it's saying, right? It's like when you're a kid in the backseat. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? It's like, well, you're there when you'll be there when you're there, right? And we've all been on a long flight or a really long drive. We knew how long it was going to be. Like, this is a 10-hour drive. This is a 10-hour flight. And it's like 5-6 hours into it, and you're like, my God, like this is like, how far are we? This is taking a long time. You start to feel it. You're like, man, this is taking a long time. Like, yeah, you're only 6 hours, man. You got 4 more to go, right? And I think we're a lot closer than that. But saying to go the distance is saying, like, you'll be there when you're there, right? When you're there, you'll know you're there. But until you arrive, keep chopping the wood. That's what the success card. Success will come if you don't stop. But you got to keep going. Is there anything else? I don't really feel. Okay. I'll do just to close out the reading. I'll get a few of these cards just to close out the reading. I know this reading's gone long. It's like an hour and a half reading. It is what it is. Okay, well, this one's not. I'll have to show you the bottom card because you can't see it because my face is down here at the corner of the box. That's fine. So the first card that came out is the time is right. Seize the day and make progress on your soul's path. You can't make it up. This card literally says right there, your soul's path at the bottom. What does this card say? Your soul's path. A totally different deck. I can't make this up. I pulled this like towards the beginning of the read, or maybe like halfway through the reading. Here we are at the end of the reading, and we're getting cards saying the same thing. So clearly, it's not just me. You can't make this shit up, but it's saying the time is right. It's time. Illumination. Become illuminated. Become aware. Recognize that now is the time. This is the sign that you've been looking for. This reading is a sign you've been looking for. This is the wake-up call. This is the smack, the 2x4 knocking you upside the head saying, hey, are you awake? Are you listening? It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time for you, my viewer, to wake up, embrace your spiritual calling, embrace your destiny, and go for it. The time is now. Seize the day. Carpe diem. And then the next card says, feel the power of your blood and your ancestors. You are not alone. Yeah, so for those of you in the Five of Pentacles energy, in this sickness energy, you feel like, well, I have to wear a mask. I have to pretend because nobody gets me. Nobody understands me. I'm all alone. I have to pretend. I have to be inauthentic to myself because I live in an inauthentic world that I don't really understand. I feel like an alien. I feel like I don't belong here. I don't understand this world. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, I'm me. That's me. I get it. I think that way. I used to think that way. I used to say those things. I used to wear a mask. I used to pretend. And this is me being authentic. This is me coming out of the closet, coming out on YouTube and doing the things that are part of my destiny, right? And I've been pushing myself and stretching myself, and it's hard. It doesn't feel. It's not natural. I don't just wake up and go out there and go, oh, I'm gonna just put all this spiritual stuff out into the world and say what I really think for everybody to criticize and judge and go, dude, you're weird. That makes no sense. It's like, well, no, it makes no sense to you because you live in the fucking matrix. It makes perfect sense to me because I'm not in the matrix. But that doesn't make me better than you because there are a lot of people that aren't in the matrix. But you're in the matrix and I'm not in the matrix. I used to be in the matrix along with you. I know what life in the matrix looks like. I used to be there, but I'm not there anymore. Right? You don't have to be either. You're not meant for the matrix any more than I was. But you're also not alone. And when you lean into the beauty of that and you understand it, you'll start connecting to forces greater than you. All right. The bottom of the deck, we have a message is trying to reach you. Be vigilant. The spirit world wishes to find and touch you. A message is trying to reach you. Illumination. Illumination. A message is trying to reach you. The very last card of the reading, a message is trying to reach you. Are you getting the message? You know, because I grew up as a Christian, as I mentioned at the beginning of this reading, there is a, how do I say this? There's a verse in the Bible Jesus was known for saying this, not just a verse. It was just a saying that Jesus was known for saying. He or she who has ears to hear, let them hear. If he has ears to hear, let them hear what the voice of God has to say. Essentially, the truth of God, whatever that verse was. Ears to hear, eyes to see, and ears to hear. And what Jesus was saying is, if you can discern, those of you who have the ability to discern the message, the spiritual message that is encrypted and hidden in my parables and my metaphors, and I say a bunch of weird things that to the people is very confusing, because that's what Jesus was known for. He says things to confuse people, and most people are confused by what he says. Like, well, this doesn't make any sense. A little bit of it makes sense, but most of it doesn't make sense. And people are scratching their heads going, I don't get it. And Jesus wouldn't explain it to them. He wouldn't explain himself. He wouldn't decipher it for them. He wouldn't give them the answer. He'd let them sit in their confusion. That's what this is. That's what this message is here to say. It's saying, if you can hear this message, if you came here looking for an answer, then you will find the answer in this message. If you came here wearing a mask, expecting something superficial, just like, well, there's 1,000, a million, a bajillion other tarot readers on YouTube that are going to tell you what you want to hear. Go find another reading. Find another reading. Well, this person's going to come back to you. This job is going to be yours. Unicorns, rainbows, fairies, and blah, blah, blah. Go find something that sounds like what you want to hear, right? Instead of hearing the truth. Because the truth isn't always what we want to hear per se, but it's always leading us to where we want to go, whether we are in a position to know that we need to go there or not. That's why our higher self is always trying to get us towards our highest good. We're not always aware of our higher self, nor are we always aware of our highest good. Because a lot of times we make decisions that are not aligned with our highest good. A lot of times we make decisions that are really dumb and our lowest good. We stay in toxic relationships. We keep making the same decisions. We keep going on the same mountains. We refuse to learn from our past lessons. I mean, a lot of us do a lot of dumb shit, unfortunately, and unnecessarily, because we continue to do the same things, right? The definition of insanity. Doing the same things and expecting a different result. A lot of people are doing the same things and expecting some different outcome. It's insanity. It's not going to happen, right? So this message, this reading is for those of you that are like, nope, not me. I'm not here doing the insanity game. I'm not going to, I don't want to do the same things anymore. I want to stop, collaborate, and listen, right? I want to move in the direction that is in my highest good. And that's what this reading is for. So for those of you who resonate with this message, I know it was a little bit of everything. Again, an all signs reading, and it was a little bit long. But if you made it this far, I would greatly appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, share, all the things. Everything else you need to do is in the description box below. And again, this reading is good for all of September, moving into October. And guys, pay attention to the things that are happening astrologically, because that's affecting all of us. And I'm learning astrology, but I'm not a big astrologer. Like, I'm not there yet. But just keep an eye on that stuff, because it's important, right? Just check in with it from time to time. And obviously, if you haven't joined me in a free live tarot reading, feel free to come join me for a free live tarot reading. Those usually go pretty long. I think my shortest one was like over 5 hours. My longest one was almost 9. So, I mean, when I'm on, I'm on. I'm there for quite a while. So there's that. But what else do I need to say? What else do I need you guys to know? Anything? I think that's it. Other than happy birthday to my fellow Virgos out there. Hope you guys have a blessed birthday month. And for the rest of you guys, go the distance. Don't forget, this is the cornerstone. This is the cornerstone of everything. Of this whole reading is this card right here. Go the distance. Don't stop. Whatever you guys do, don't stop. Keep going. Step into that star energy. Keep chopping wood until you get to the new life, right? The new life. There's a beautiful, powerful new life ahead of you. But you got to keep going. You can't give up. You got to step into your power, and you just have to keep doing what's in front of you. That's what chopping wood means. Just keep doing the little things, right? One foot in front of another. If you keep putting one foot in front of another, eventually one step becomes 10 steps, 10 steps becomes 100 steps, 100 steps becomes 1,000 steps, 1,000 steps becomes a mile. Before you know it, you've walked a mile. Then you've walked 5 miles, then you've walked 10 miles, then you've walked 20 miles. One foot in front of the other. That's all you have to think about. You don't have to focus on the 100. You have to focus on a mile. Don't go on a walk and go, I'm going to walk a mile, because then you're not going to want to go for a walk. Like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to put one foot. If I asked you, if I challenged you, can you put one foot in front of the other? Would you say yes or no? Right? Metaphorically, and even if you can't walk, even if you're in a wheelchair and you're watching, it's like, well, Eddie, I can't walk. I'm in a wheelchair. Okay. Can you roll? Can you crawl? Can you close your eyes? Can you imagine yourself putting one foot in front of the other? It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. And if your answer is yes, then you can do this. You can do whatever it is that you need to do to move the needle in your life to get here. Because this is where the magic is, the new life. A new life awaits those of you who are willing to listen to the message that is trying to reach you. And that, my friends, is the message I have for you. Love and light.